It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, I thought we would continue a little bit of what I was working on last week, which means that this week we're up to addressing locomotives. And the question I got asked last week was, I'm really curious to see like how you're going to do it, like what your sort of methodology is. And I said, yes, I am very curious to know that as well. So I've thought about it and I've come up with very little conclusive information. So I'm gonna wing it a little bit and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do have some news though that I think is, at least for me, it's kind of interesting news. I don't know that anybody else is gonna find this very interesting, but I don't know, it excited me at least. So a lot of people know, or you may know, that the layout that is around me right now, I call it the Riverside Transfer. It is based on the 69th Street Transfer Bridge, which is the only transfer bridge still left on the west side of New York, where New York Central used to have their 60th Street or 72nd Street yard, depending on which way you used to get to it. But that's what I call my layout. If you go to my website, of course, there's all kinds of information on the layout that you can kind of see, and you can even see the old layout that I got rid of. I see the maturity level in the chat is staying consistent with what I would expect. And Cameron, I agree. Whatever I choose, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be wrong. But back to the 69th Street Transfer Bridge. I just saw an article that there is a refresh in store for the historic rail structure. So that's apparently what the 69th Street Transfer Bridge is being called now. But yeah, it sounds like somebody found these procurement records that say Riverside Park South 69th Street Transfer Bridge reconstruction, $5 million contract just awarded on October 23rd. So I'm kind of excited because it's a piece of rail history that, I've been learning about. It's kind of, driven some of my interest in what I'm building and what I'm up to. So I just thought that that was really pretty cool, that they're going to be doing some work on it. I do actually have, I wonder if I can find it now that I say this. It's not there. It's going to be here. Shifting shorelines. Another little piece of information is if you are in the New York City area, here's another 69th Street transfer thing that's going on right now from October 5th to January 12th. It's an art exhibit basically showing, pictures and paintings and all kinds of stuff of the West Side. This is at where is it at? 615 West 129th Street. It's a part of Columbia University, apparently. So yeah, Lynn, please do walk right over. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe. I mean, Amtrak did just get a bunch of money as well, so maybe they might. So instead of being over my desk, which is where we were last week, I've actually set the camera up over in the corner. And I just realized I didn't set up another device over in that corner where I can track the chat. So I might have to do a bunch of walking back and forth, but I guess I set myself up for that. I did get most of the stuff pulled out and on the bench, or I should say on the layout. I did kind of stop at a certain point, though. I didn't end up putting the Rapido guys on the layout yet. I didn't put these two Bachmann RS3s, but what I did realize, you may be able to make it out right here. This is the Rio Grande RS3 that Lynn McCurdy got me. And what I'm going to do is probably pair up one of these RS3s, because as I mentioned, one of these RS3s isn't running right. It's like running at half speed or something like that. So what I got over here is, this is my programming track. This is not connected to, it is connected to the layout, but it's not connected to the layout. It's definitely my programming track. I got a little flipper knob down here so I could switch it from the programming output of my command station to my ESU programmer. I also have a third option with the wires just kind of hanging out down here that I can eventually hook up a third controller of some sort for that area. I did also put a little bit of a safety barrier up here. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but Andy Estep has come over and he has tested out my layout quite often, and he has been teaching me where the areas of the layout are in which trains like to jump off the track. So I thought, being as this is where I would park, this is where the locomotives are getting parked, that I would put another little barrier up there, and it's just velcroed on, so it comes off pretty easily. Oh, so good possibility you'll program everything to the same address. No, as long as I only have one train over there, I should be okay. So I guess that's kind of a good question, right? I admit I still have locos that are at 0.3. A lot of these locos are at 0.3 right now. Yeah, Paul, you gotta, if you want to connect, yeah. Anyway, to throw all the locos on the main and do a factory reset. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But one of the things I guess that I've kind of been trying to figure out is what's going to be the most efficient way to program everything. So I am going to program everything on the programming track. I'm not, so the command station that I have, and this is supposedly not DCC compliant, but whatever, the programming track on the command station that I use has what they call a drive on, drive off feature. So when the programming track is not in programming mode, I can use that track with any of my regular throttles, and I can test things right on that track. One of the reasons I like the command station I have. But so I kind of have two options. Is I can program everything using the programming track of the command station, and for that I've got Decoder Pro set up. So I'm not using the software of the command station. I am just using Decoder Pro. The other option is that I can use, and of course it's off the screen. Let's get it over here on the screen. This is the Loc Programmer software. So I'm set up where I can use either of these. So I was trying to decide which I should use. All of the locomotives that I have up here, except for the Bachmann from Lynn, that Rio Grande one, which I'll move out of the way. Oh, and those 244 tonners. So except for the 244 tonners and the locomotive from Lynn, everything else is ESU. So I could use the ESU programmer for all of that, but I'm not. And the reason that I'm not, what did Possum say that you guys are, what are you guys in cahoots about? So what I am thinking is that I am actually going to use Decoder Pro. And the reason I'm going to use Decoder Pro is because when you enter this information into Decoder Pro, when I put in like 108 Amtrak, when I dial it up on my TCS throttle, that information comes up on the throttle. So since that comes up, I'm going to do that. And I've put in some photos of the locomotives and stuff. So step one, I like when he says the loco from Lynn. I don't know how the 44 tonners run yet. I haven't actually run them at all yet. So what? Well, with an NCE power cab, you can do the same thing I'm going to do with JMRI. So I'm a fan of JMRI. Why am I a fan of JMRI? Because for me, I like knowing what I'm doing. I know that I heard what I said. And I know that probably didn't. Yeah. Everything's gonna use long addresses on mine. So power cab, Digitrax, TCS, doesn't matter. You can use JMRI with all of them. The reason I'm using JMRI is when you click new loco and you get this window that pops up, right? Like things are in kind of like English almost, right? So when I type in read type from decoder, it's actually checking. Let's see if I turn this on. It's actually checking this locomotive over here. I'll do it again. Give me a second. I know, Dennis. So you could let's get out of this. I'll do it one more time. We'll go. So if you go new locomotive, read type from decoder, you'll see it'll kind of like shudder back and forth a little bit, but then it comes up and it tells me, and of course it's not doing it right now. Error, programmer in use. Something's going wrong. Of course something's going wrong. But I like that it all comes up in, you know, somewhat English, I guess. Like that, I mean, if I can get past this part, I'll, oh, you quiet down, Cameron. Keep it down over there. It says programmer in use. Why does it say, all right, there we go. All right, so you can see the locomotive jittering back and forth. Yes, I agree. I should rephrase that to say I would like to know what I'm doing. So once it reads the decoder, it's going to give me a list of everything that it thinks the decoder is. And in this case, it thinks the decoder is a Loc-Sound Select Direct Micro, which it is, so I'd say that's a pretty good start right there. And it's also telling me that it's already set up as number 301. So this one happens to already be set up, and it is actually set up. I can see it in the back here. If let's hide this again. I have 301, 302, 303, which are these three little switchers. I already have them in JMRI, but just to show this, I am a big fan of basically knowing, let's see, 302. I don't want to have to remember the 6,000 different CVs for everything. And unfortunately, unfortunately for me, I just can't keep it up. So if you use JMRI, you know, instead of you know, odd names and stuff for things, it'll just say acceleration 16, deceleration 12. If you go into the function, let's not go there. If you go into the, what do we want to go into? Here, if you go into the sound, right? It just has all the information, you know, with the words. And I don't have to remember the CVs. Yeah, the only CV you've mastered is master volume. Yeah, that's usually one that I turn down pretty quickly. But yeah, so I like this. So let's, I know I've got 302 in here already. Let's find a locomotive that I don't actually have in here yet. So I'm still not sure how I'm going to consist these. So here's my plan. I'm going to set the locomotive address for all of these. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the ESU programmer and I'm going to set them all up for use on the proto throttle. And I've got a map or a template that I'm going to use for that. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to consist with what. So, I don't know. Let's see, okay, so this one has been programmed, but it is not currently in JMRI because I didn't program this one. Somebody else programmed this one, and the person that programmed this one was John Farrington. So that is my Riverside transfer locomotive. So this locomotive is the locomotive that I am going to use to set up the proto throttle. So all the functions, the way it's all set up and everything, that is what I am going to use for that. Oh, and I realize my big head is completely in the way. So why is my head in the way? I guess I can just go to this other page, right? Let's just go not there. Yeah, we can go here. We can go here. Let's turn this on. All right, so there's the little locomotive up there. Andy, you missed it. I talked about you earlier. RT page. Yes. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. Like, incredible, incredible paint job. But anyway, so here we go. So we're gonna hit the new loco button. We get this, you know, the little menu. We're gonna read type from decoder like we've done previously. And I don't see the locomotive moving, but I do hear something. So hopefully it's making contact. There we go. Yep. So that is what it is. I don't know why it's saying the address is still 301. Let's read the address. There you go. So active address is 1973. So we are going to change the roster ID on this to 1973. And I'm going to call this HCJX. I know it says Riverside Transfer on it, but the Riverside Transfer is owned by the Human City Junction Leasing Company. So I am going to use HCJX for all of the Riverside Transfer stuff. So I'll hit save. And if I just did this correctly, which nothing seemed to happen, nope, there it goes. It did save. It popped up right behind my big old head. So it popped up right here. Now, all I have done is set the long address of it. No, I haven't done anything else. I haven't read any of the other CVs into JMRI or anything. The only thing I've done is that I know that this is a Loc-Sound Direct and that it is set up as DCC address 1973. And for what I'm doing in this moment, I think that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to go through and add the road name and road number and manufacturer and all that stuff now. I can do that later. I don't need it connected to the programming track to do that. Bob says, what's your favorite decoder to use? There was a time I liked a different brand decoder, but then when I got into operations, I really wanted to use decoders that had braking. I'm really into momentum. I think using the proto throttle and having the layout set up to use the brake lever, I just think it's a lot of fun. So for that reason, the options were either ESU, Soundtracks, or TCS. In the locomotives that I wanted, which are these are Atlas locomotives. The Atlas locomotives come with ESU Loc-Sound decoders. As much as I love electronics, the last thing I want to be doing is programming a bunch of, or not programming, but swapping a bunch of decoders. So I made the choice. I'm going to pretty much go with ESU Loc-Sound decoders for everything. So Ed is mentioning that I created the roster entry, but I haven't read the settings on the decoder yet. That is correct, because I am not going to use JMRI to manage the decoder settings on the locomotives. I'm going to use the ESU Loc Programmer software to manage the settings and everything on the decoder. So the only thing that I need to put into JMRI is the locomotive address, so that when I call it up, if you use one of these, if I can get it out, if you use one of these TCS throttles, when you bring up the locomotive address, if you have anything in JMRI, the name that you put in JMRI will pop up on this list. So that's the only thing I'm putting into JMRI. And just because it's, for me, a little simpler, since I'm going to put them in JMRI anyway, I'm going to set the addresses as well. Dave, I don't know. I have definitely thought about it. I am not sure. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to. I don't know if I'm going to delve into the scale trains arena. If you look at all of the locomotives that I have on the layout, I guess we can discuss this. I haven't really mentioned this yet. So, all the locomotives that I pulled out the other day, I've put in what is essentially my engine facility. This track here is actually the yard lead. So I can't have locomotives sitting here. There are locomotives there now. This track is my fueling track, and then these two tracks are my two just engine facility tracks. So I already have enough locomotives on this layout that all of my engine tracks are just full of locomotives. And I still have more locomotives on the shelf. So I could buy more locomotives, but, you know, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Interested in an op session November 9th. November 9th is that a weekend? Oh, that is a weekend. Let me know, Ed. Send me an email. I gotta check the schedule. JMRI is extremely slow, especially reading ESU decoders, because there are so many CVs on an ESU decoder. So that's another reason I'm not reading them with JMRI. For what ESU, the loc programmer, they've got it figured out. It reads things much faster. The JMRI reads it really slow. Andy, a step, since you weren't here and you missed it, I just pointed out earlier, I put this here for you. The engine track right here is the closest to the edge of the layout. And instead of waiting for you to find this spot, I just put up a little plexi barrier. So I put that there just for you. So let's go back over here. Okay, so this locomotive is basically done, right? Because I've got the address in JMRI. Yeah, it's attempting to be Andy-proofed. You know what they say. If you proof something for an Andy, they'll make a better Andy. So, okay, so we got that going. I guess the thing to do is just kind of keep going through these locomotives, because I haven't actually programmed anything, right? I've just kind of put things on the layout, and they've already basically been programmed. So let's find something. I know this has not been programmed. So let's try this guy. This is, now I don't know, should I put this in as MEC or should I put this in as Pan Am? I have a feeling if I put this locomotive in as MEC, nobody will be able to find it. But, you know, that's part of it. Yeah, always picking on the big guys. Yeah, I put it's funny you say that. The track around the ceiling isn't 8 feet tall. So, David, if you did happen to come down here, you shouldn't hit your head on that. You might hit your head on other things, but yeah. Adam Cruz, is the loc programmer a computer interface or is it a complete system? It is a computer interface. It is a serial device that connects to your computer over USB. You use the loc programmer software on your computer. It only works on Windows. So that's, I guess, another thing about JMRI. This window, this JMRI window here, this is actually on a Mac Mini, a 2014 Mac Mini, whereas this, I have the loc programmer software running on my streaming PC right now, the Windows PC. So, yeah, so another reason I've got all this in JMRI is because I have it all in JMRI. Okay, let's add a new locomotive. Let's read decoder type. I do have some ESU selects. I should have some ESU 4s and some ESU 5s. So I'm kind of curious to see if I can find them. Okay, so this one says multiple possible. So this came up, and I don't know if you can read this note on the bottom. Multiple possible decoders detected. Manually select from highlighted list. But when you go through the list, the only ones this show are the Loc-Sound 5 micros. I would love to swap everything out for the Loc-Sound 5 locos. They've got better braking functions on the N-scale decoders that the 4s don't have. So it would be nice to switch everything to 5s. I don't know that I'm going to be taking anything apart and swap them. Yes, the ESU Loc programmer does also have the ESU Loc programmer does also have what they call the driver's cab, and you can go in here and actually run the locomotive using this device as well. So that is kind of a. I happen to have a command station that you can do that with as well, but this is kind of nice as well if you don't have that, the ESU programmer. My big gripe, just to mention, my big gripe with the ESU programmer is they're still using a serial interface into the programmer instead of USB. It would be nice if it was USB. The serial still works. I mean, it's fine. Yeah. Bob, I bet you there is somebody out there that has converted it to Android. I mean, it runs on Java. So will Java run on Android? I don't know. So Russ says, is that a tunnel to nowhere? Yes. So there's one on this end. There's actually one on the other end. I did it just to kind of be fancy, I guess. So up here, this is my yard lead and my main line. So this is where the trains are going to go by. There's going to be some sort of like mountain hill type thing here. And I thought it would be fun to put the programming track here and make it look like it's, goes into a tunnel on either end, and it'll kind of bridge parts of the layout together. So yeah, it's a fake. It's a fake. I have troubles with loading Java. Yeah. You have troubles loading Java on Android or troubles loading Java on Windows and Mac, because the JMRI guys do have a really good write-up on installing Java to get everything running. No, so these are actually rolling roads. I was hoping to just use these today, but for whatever reason, the locomotives that I was trying to use them with earlier, they weren't working, and I had a stream to get to. So at some point, I'm gonna just use the rolling roads and use those to break in the locomotives, because then I can run them forwards and backwards, and do that on the programming track instead of on the layout. Yeah, they're rolling roads. Yep, exactly. Yeah, they're the new DCC Concepts ones. So I have 2 sets now. This is the gold set, and I got the gold set because I thought it would be a little bit better than the steel set, and I was hoping that it would just work. It didn't just work as well as I hoped. Now, that said, I am just using it on the programming track right now. It might work better on the main line where there's more amperage going through it, but oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about running Java on Android. That's yeah, I don't know. Andy's making a joke. Looks like rolling roads weren't invented by Roland Roads. Yes, I got all my DCC Concept stuff from Iron Planet Hobbies. I do have a discount code if you look down below, or if you pay attention to the scrolling at the beginning. All right, let's get. I'm getting distracted. So let's get back here. So Loc-Sound 5 Micro DCC Direct. So I'm going to select this one. Let's read. Read the active address. Looks like the active address is 519, and that's the address. So somebody, probably this guy right here, actually programmed this locomotive and forgot that they programmed it. So now I'm trying to see, did I already put it in the list? No, I don't have it on the list yet. So we need to set the ID. So let's go 519. We're going to call it MEC. If it confuses too many people, we'll change it eventually. I could change all this other stuff. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We're just going to save it to the roster. It popped up on the list somewhere. Of course, there it is at the very top of the list up here. And then I can just close this, and now I've got that guy on the roster. So apparently somebody, likely this guy, did set the DCC address on this guy and forgot that they set the DCC address on this guy. I probably should not leave that in front. Okay, so here, I know for a fact I did not set the DCC address on this guy because I just got this guy. And I just realized I don't know that I can even see what the numbers are on the side of this guy. So the numbers on the side of this say 1972 to 2022. And it is the 50th anniversary of Operation Lifesaver. So that's what that's what that guy is. So I either need to number it 1972 or 2022. Oh, I could do that. Make it PAR. I don't know how much. I don't know how much will show on the throttle. I'll have to take a look. But I did just. You can just click in the field and just change it. So I just did that. Oh, and it looks like. I don't know why, but it keeps doing this thing. You see how the cursor got weird? Keeps doing that. It just no, it doesn't. But I bought them because I'm considering removing the labels on the top of all the boxcars, and there's just absolutely no way to see anything. Yeah. And yeah, it does seem to be thinking this is a 2014 computer programming. Why didn't nothing came up? Nothing came up. Come on. This is always fun. Here we go. All right, so for some reason, the DCC address is being listed as 3. So we're going to go here. I'm going to read this full sheet. Nope, I'm not going to read the full sheet because it's not there. So we're just going to change it to long address. We're going to set it to 519. And I'm just going to, can I just save that somehow? I think if I just go back to roster entry and click save the roster, and then I close this, and it should, yes. Did it change it? Does anyone see the locomotive now? Where is it? 519. Isn't this fun? Now oh, there it is. 519 MEC. Yeah, now it says 519. I don't know. Probably can't see that, but little one. Okay, so I've now got this 50th anniversary. I know for a fact this one doesn't have an address on it. Can you get an address read back? Yes. I just messed up and I didn't do it for whatever reason. But yes, you can read the address off the locomotive while you're doing this whole process. I'll show it to you here. We'll see. I don't know if it'll read back correctly, but yes, it'll definitely slow down an op session if you have to use a magnifying glass. I have one on this side of the room and one on the other side of the room. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. Your mileage may vary. I think it kind of depends on how many locomotives you have. Okay, so this is a Lokesound 5 Micro DCC Direct, which is good. So you see over here how it says short address, long address, active addresses. Theoretically, if I hit read, it's going to read back whatever the address is programmed onto it. And if it's programmed to something else, it'll tell me what it's programmed to. I can actually change it here as well. So I can change this to 1972. I can then write it to the decoder here. It just wrote it, and now when I read it back, theoretically it'll show 1972, even though it's yeah. So I'm gonna call this, for lack of a better term, 1972 OLS for Operation Lifesaver. I guess it's Operation Lifesaver 50th, right? So we can add the 50th. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much. I don't know how much. Yeah. So when I save this now, it just saved it as a roster entry, and it put it somewhere in here. Here we go, right there. So there's the roster entry. 1972, the year I graduated high school. 1972 is the year before I was born. So, leaving analog operation enabled isn't recommended. Who doesn't recommend it? I'm just curious. Why? I guess the question is why. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just sort of curious why. For example, like I have a DC track, so I may want to run it on a DC track. So why not? But anyway, so that one's now programmed as much as I'm going to program it in JMRI, which means now I can go over here and I'm going to swap this out for its partner locomotive. And its partner locomotive, or at least what I think I'm going to partner it with, is this guy right here, which is honoring first responders. This is not the 911 SD78 locomotive. This is a GP, I think 35. Someone's going to correct me on that. And its address is 8955, honoring first responders. Let's slide it back a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So we'll go back to here. We'll click new loco, and we'll read decoder type and get this taken care of. You know, sometimes you buy stuff because the colors look good. So, yeah, you were 5. Yeah, Dennis doesn't remember how old he was. It was so long ago. Apparently. Oh, I need to click. I just clicked completely on the wrong screen. That was pretty funny. Okay, so we'll open up this. Again, so the active address shows up as a short address 3. We're going to change this to, and it's thinking, and it's not letting me click. Oh, nope. I didn't want it to do that. I didn't want it to do that. Let's go back here. I don't know. I like doing the simple things to the simple part. Okay. Potential for runaway if there's a brief short and the decoder gets confused and then switches the DC mode and then takes off at full speed since the track folds the 12 folding back. I can see that. I can see that. I guess my thing is if there is a short or something, I've found that it wipes out the decoders. At least if you go to the West Island Club, they still have some NCE decoders in their locomotives. And the NCE decoders that they have, oh, I'm double clicking. Maybe I shouldn't be double clicking. That might be my problem because I think it's about to open the other thing. But the NCE decoders, if there's a glitch, if there's a glitch, it like just wipes out the decoder completely. So that's been my experience, is if there is a decoder glitch, it usually wipes out all the DCC stuff anyway. I guess I'm curious, if you turn off the DC function, isn't that just turning it off in the software? So if there's an issue, I don't know. All right, so long address, what did I say? 8955, I think, yeah. So let's go 8955, and let's write that. And it goes from yellow to red to blank, just to make a couple people happy. We'll turn it off. Program on my Zephyr. If all you are doing is setting the address, then yeah, it might be a little easier. I'm trying to get everything into Jammerai anyway, and then I'm going to bring everything into the ESU Loc programmer to set braking and all of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, unfortunately or fortunately, a necessity. So what should I call this? 8955. It's honoring first responders. I don't know what to 8955 first. RES. Well, let's see. First respond. We'll see. I don't know if that'll work or not. But okay. But we just saved that file. Part of why this seems complicated is because I'm doing it on the stream. This is my thing. I can't remember the CVs, so it's much easier for me to just open up Jammerai and do it for Jammerai. But, you know, I have the computers set up already. So it's like I just have some things already, you know, already ready to go for this purpose. So let's take this guy out. I think this is an RS3, if I'm not mistaken. 5609 New York Central guy. So I'm going to try and pay attention enough and ignore the chat for a second, just to kind of show how easy this really is. So I've got Jammerai open. I put the locomotive on my programming track, right? So I'm going to hit new loco. It pops up, read type from decoder. The sound is starting up on it. I can hear it behind you. I don't export it to Excel. I use Operations Pro, and I just put everything into Ops Pro. All right, now you're gonna make me look up what is it, because I can't remember, and I'm terrible. Oh, it's a GP7. Yeah, it's not an RS3, it's a GP7. All right, so this comes up. It's a LocSound 5 Nano. So we're going to change this to a long address, and I've already forgot 5609, 5609. We're going to change this to NMRA only. We're going to write this, and then I'm going to just change this up here to 5609 New York Central, and I'm going to save it. And that's it. So that's the whole process. So we can do it again with my other New York Central GP7 just to show how quick it goes. So I'm gonna try and focus and just do this guy. So new loco, read type from decoder. When it comes up, which it should tell me in a second, set the long address. This one's 5608. So we're going to set that. We're going to turn off DC conversion. Apparently it didn't like that. I don't know. I did something too fast. Okay, so we're going to write that. And then I'm going to type in 5608 New York Central and save it. So that's it. I mean, it's kind of like once you get it set up and once you get going, you can kind of just, you know, just kind of keep going and just kind of, you know, go through them all. Here's a little switcher guy, a little CP rail for our friends up north. So this one's 7113. I think I might not even need to get out of this window. Yeah, I just hit read from decoder and it went right back to this page. So you don't actually have to close the window. I had been doing one extra step that looks like I don't need to do. So it's looking for the decoder. There it is. It found it. Locosound 5 Micro DCC Direct Atlas S2. So it even knows that it's an Atlas S2. So we're going to go 7113. We'll turn off DCC. We'll write that to the decoder. And then we'll come up here and type in 7113 CP and type in save. So when I'm paying attention, it's pretty quick. You need to get some Sioux tuxedo units. I was just thinking that once you've done it a few times, it'll go quickly. Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to talk through it on the stream, and I was trying to pay attention to the chat and all kinds of other stuff. And, you know, I mean, I'm just not very coordinated sometimes. All right, so this is 0818. Let's see, I've never used one of these 44 tonners. This is not an ESU decoder. This is something else. We'll hopefully find out what it is in a second. I don't know how good these pickups are. I don't even know if this guy works. I've never put this guy on the tracks before. So we'll see what happens. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, again, you know, watching all the Canadian guys and just sort of, you know, enjoying the colors as well. I like red. Red's a good color. Yeah, I think it's the Bachmann generic decoder. Stopping due to error. Well, that's not good. All right, let's rub it back and forth on the track because I don't know why, but sometimes that works. So let's see. We'll try reading. Oh, there we go. You see, it's moving itself off the. Well, it just moved it out of screen, so that's a good sign. That just means that it was receiving a DCC signal. And it says stopping due to error. Again, no locomotive found. Should we try it one more time and then we'll I don't know. I don't know how they got it in there, but I am 99% sure there is a decoder in there. Although maybe there's not. I don't know. I mean, it says it's got a DCC decoder in it. There we go. There we go. Look, now we got stuff. So yeah, Bachmann Trains, easy command decoders. So it's either one of these. It's either a N-scale EMD F7A, no. N-scale EMD F7B, no. A 2-function decoder or a 4-function decoder. So who wants to guess? Do we think that's a 2-function or a 4-function decoder in there? The only real difference in JMRI is just that it will just give you access to the other 2 functions. So if they're there or not there, I guess let's just choose the 4. So we're going to set the long address at 0818. We'll turn it off because it looks like it's going to let me turn it off. And we'll write it. Let's see. Hopefully it's going to write. It did just move a little bit. If it didn't have a decoder, it would probably hum. Yeah, I assume it's 2-function as well, but I've now selected 4-function, so I'm just going to go with it. So we're going to set this as 818 New Haven, and we'll save it. And now that we've saved it, everyone guesses 2, Heath picks 4. Yeah, come on, John. You've been here long enough to know that I'm going to just, probably completely do whatever the heck I want anyway. Okay. So let's see. It only took, what did it take? 4 tries? 3 tries to get it to read the decoder? So this is 9337. This is the PRR Railroad guy. I guess, it's like, should I select, it has a dual decoder. Does that mean 2 function, or does that mean 2 function? The Zephyr would display a DNR error. It can run, yeah, all of these can run on DC, DC as well. I've been advised to turn off DC, so I've been turning it off. Again, like I have Jammer turned on all the time. It's just on a computer here, so if I need to change it, I got a programming track. I'll just change it, and it was running away on me, but it seems to be written now. So let's go 9337 PRR, save. So I'm kind of happy those works. You can use the leading 0 in the ID name, just not in the address field. Interesting. Let's do that, just because it's there, and just to make things not too confusing for anybody. So I can just click on this and add the 0 in front and hit enter, and now it's got the 0 in front of it. It's almost easier than I don't know. What is it easier than? So I've got this J.R. Corman on here that I really like. The problem with the J.R. Corman is I can't read the darn number on the side of it. Let's see, if I pull the maybe 573. Yeah, let's go with 573. So everybody remember that number, 573, because if I couldn't read it once, I'm not going to be able to read it later when I don't remember the number. So remember that, 573. Probably also in there as 8182. You might want to delete that other one. You think it doubled it? I don't think it, let's sort by ID. So here's 0818, and there's no other 818. So it didn't duplicate it. It's still there. Andy, thanks for writing the number down in the chat so I don't forget it. Of course, everybody's putting down their own random numbers, which is oh so helpful. Reading type from decoder. I love it. The sound started up on the guy. It's making all kinds of noise. I like the look of that guy. Branch line livery. Good old red and silver. I just think it looks nice. So the local images I got on JMRI, I downloaded them off the web, and then you drag them into JMRI. There is a page that allows you to upload the photos. So it took me a little bit to figure out how to best do that, but yeah, it worked out well. So does anybody know what the 3 or 4 digit letter code is for RJ Corman? Do we think it's RJC? Or is it maybe RJCX because it is something else? What is, oh, the AAR code. Who knows the AAR code for RJ Corman? Let's see, come on. Waiting for somebody in the chat to pull it out. Dennis is saying that Paul knows it. Mr. Finger Lakes Paul, probably RJCX, but is it? Do I need to look it up? Should we be going to a web page and see RJCX? Let's see what comes up. Nope, a bunch of, oh, here. This says original rail slide, RJCX, RJ Corman. So yeah, maybe it is RJCX. Let's see. Maybe if I look up RJ Corman Railroad. RJ Corman. Let's look in Wikipedia. We'll see. Do we think Wikipedia will have it? Private railroad. Founder Richard J. Corman. I don't see the AAR code anywhere. Does anybody see the AAR code? All right, so the next thing we can do is we can go to an AAR code. AR code. Code. I couldn't spell code. These are car codes. I want the liveries. I want car code type. Aren't they also called AAR? AAR. What do we call those? Railroad codes? So Adam says RJCP or RJCC. Where are you getting that one from, Adam? Reporting marks. Let's try that. Railroad reporting marks. I didn't understand the question. Reporting marks, not AAR. Okay, so that's where I was screwing up. Railroad reporting marks. Reporting marks 101. List of reporting marks. Let's go here. Let's go to R. And let's find it. Now you're going to see how well I know my alphabet. H. Here we go. RJCC. So RJ Corman Railroad Kentucky lines versus RJ Corman Pennsylvania lines versus RJ Corman Western Ohio. So why don't we go with RJ Corman Pennsylvania lines just because? So let's try RJCP, which looks like that is what Adam just pasted it. Adam found it before I did. He wins, he gets a gold star for the day. So let's go up here, RJCP, and we click save, and that's in there. So I've got, I think, 1, 2, 3, this guy. I got to get this Central New Jersey in. I got my 2 Long Island railroads in. I think the Pan Am, the other Pan Am, I need to get in there as well. So I do have a couple more to get in there, but I guess my hour's up and I'm just repeating things over and over again. So, oh, I see the Pennsylvania line didn't have a D8. Yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna say it's a Pennsylvania line, even if it's not a Pennsylvania line. But thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, this wasn't too completely confusing for everybody. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll try and answer them. I don't know. From the city that never sleeps. Farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity.